Chairman, Southeast Council of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly, my leader and brother, my father and mentor, the chair, Dr. Sonny Lambeene. Thank you for coming. Dr. Malaki Oche, the book reviewer for this occasion. Thank you for coming. I can call all of us by our name. I can see Ono Cosmas Onya, the representative of the Crown of Oji Autonomous Community. His Royal Highness Ascending Igwe Architect Innocent Chiboke. Thank you very much for coming. I want to also recognize his Apostle Paul. Thank you very much for coming. Also, Akili, thank you very much. Reverend Father Matthew Moore, thank you for coming. I also wish to recognize the presence of Pastor Mrs. Gloria Egilogo, right? You're welcome, thank you, and management of your school, with the proprietors of. I want to welcome Francis Aneke, thank you for coming. The Councillor of Aboko Ward, Arabuchike Somchi, thank you for coming. Comrade Franklin Aneko, thank you for coming. And most importantly, I kept this for the last because he came first. Also,
this is Alex Obada.
Also, Diriko, also Kabanka, specifically I left this for now. You came first. And I promise I won't keep you waiting. Whether I kept that promise or another topic, thank you, sir, for your patience. I also wish to thank my beloved mom, Mrs. Maria Beke. Thank you for coming, my dear wife and family. Thank you all. I am really delighted to receive all of us. Dr. Mrs. Agro, thank you very much for coming. Thank you all. And I'll now rest the protocol and take my speech. Please, I hope you have this already in circulation. Thank you very much. I am sincerely elated by the huge sacrifices made by all of you who found time to be sick. Some other of us will join us. Thank you very much. In retrospect, this book we are here to launch started as a consign which created unceasing questions and thoughts that later metamorphosed into an idea and is today a book. As a security manager with many levels of experience in public security, we sought by learning, thus some series of questions and thoughts brought my worried mind about what are the causes of this level of insecurity. Now, the things our security men should do differently to have upper hands against non-state actors. These questions are more vector answers for years, but at that point, I just came on how the questions can be answered. And sanity could be restored in our dear state and country. These ideas went through several stages of developing them to be meaningful and impactful for the purpose it is meant to achieve. The verical survey was conducted in which local government users and communities categorized as good community safety partnership. to the CSP. As the pilot came under the tenors of Engineer Keneze and Rifa Agro, I must add from the south to ascertain the suitability of the building ideas. The outcome showed genuine willingness of communities and businesses to support public safety projects. They want an actionable and sustainable structure of security partnership. This book, therefore, is the product of those ideas that have passed through several critical hands of refinement. I sacrificed pleasure, leisure, and other life comforts to bring the book the way it is today. In my contribution and dedication towards public safety and security, I resolved to commit 25% of any fund raised today, tomorrow, to the end of this project, strategic partnership with public safety and security organizations in Enugu State, Nigeria, Africa, and the world. It is also my sincere expectation that the book will be purchased and donated to various institutions of learning to serve as both a reference and source of information that will enhance public safety through strategic partnership. I wish to sincerely thank all those whom I have acknowledged in this book and those I did not. I want to thank you all and I assure you that I will not let you down. Thank you so much for coming and remain blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, another round of applause for Luke Onyebuchi Aneke, who is the author of this book. And he has an ambitious plan. It's not, he could have been in the comfort of his house and be selling his gadgets, but he just undertook something that will help the community. The Honorable Speaker, Enugu State House of Assembly, Principal Officers of Godfrey Okoye University, our distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to hand the microphone to the Speaker, Enugu State House of Assembly, for a short speech so that we get on with the program. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir.
The chairman of the local government area, represented by Honorable Hazim Saad. Please, the principal officers of Godfrey Okoye University, permit me to stand on already established protocol. Also, Father, today's occasion is timely, in the sense that if you look at the security situation in the country, you agree with me that the young man, Onyebuchi Aneke, the area he delved into is an area that demands attention at this contemporary time. I'm not going to make a long speech, but I think his work is what I've not gone through the book, but I know the chair as a security expert, and I'm sure the content of his work is going to be very rich. I advise everybody to get a copy, go through it, make use of the contents of it, and do the letter of it. So on that note, I also want to welcome everybody and say may God bless us. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for the speaker. Okay, it is time for us to unveil the book. Makana, I got money high before we get into Thank you. We will review the book before we unveil it. I'm sorry about that. I was being religious with the program, but that's fine. Absolutely fine. It's my pleasure to now invite Dr. Malachi Chukwuoche to review the book, which is, of course, Public Safety Through Strategic Partnership. Please put your hands together for him. Dr. Malachi Chukwuoche is from the Institute of Peace and Strategic Studies, Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT. You're welcome, sir.
The Speaker, Enugu State House of Assembly, and Chairman, Forum of Speakers, Nigeria. The principal officers of Godfrey Okoye University here present. My boss, my mentor, also Ferdinand Adikwe. Please, apologies, and the sage himself, Andrew Nevedu, and other distinguished guests, please accept my warm greetings. I have been asked to review the book, Public Security Through Strategic Partnership, written Onyebuchi Aneke. The Master of Ceremony has a knack for telling stories. So I will borrow it from him. In 1982-83, when I was a fresher, when I came, I've never been to Port Harcourt all my life. But we had an association, one Students Association. We call it Hilltop. This was happening 82-83. And that was when Ferdinand Adikwe was about, he was third year, that was their third year. And GNG, Bazuagu, had already graduated and was working with Ashland. I remember when he was talking to us, inducting us in University of Port Harcourt. Ferdinand told us, in this school, you must be very careful with your security. I've never forgotten that. So when I was called upon to review this book, it was my pleasure, even though it was very stressful. And why security? Any work on security is bound to attract attention, even now. Look at what is happening in the world, what is happening in Nigeria. From North Africa to South Africa, from East Africa to West Africa, all over the world, the Middle East, all over the world. If you turn on your radio, if you turn on your TV, read through the magazines and so on, there is no end to the tale of woes wrought upon society by insecurity. in Nigeria here, when it is not the Boko Haram insurgency in the north, it is the Niger Delta militants in the south. When it is not the Niger Delta militants in the south, it is the IPOB agitation in the southeast. When it is not IPOB agitation in the southeast, it is the Oduduwa People's Congress in southwest. So Nigeria is wrong. We have become endangered. Nigeria has become endangered. And this is why any war on security must be supported, must be praised. And it is on this note that I reviewed a book titled Public Security Through Strategic Partnership. This book, written by Luke Onyebuchi, was published by the Lovelinton Educational Council. It's located at number 36 Imo River, Abakaliki, Enugu, here. It has 186 pages, and the year of publication is 2023. It also has an international standard book number 978 783-644-6. So his book is an inspiring and courageous addition to the corpus of literature on managing public safety in Nigeria. The book is dedicated to his lovely daughter, who I had the opportunity of meeting this morning, as well as public safety professionals, agencies, and partners all over the world. The acknowledgement is like a list of who is who in Enugu State, and the preface to the book, which is contained from pages 15 to 20, gives a synoptic overview of the work's intended. In the preface, the author gave reasons why a scholarly work in this area is important, among which are that most Nigerians are ignorant of basic security procedures, and that there is increasing level of distrust between the people and security agencies. The foreword was written by Matthew Ogobechi, a former state director of DSS, who aptly noted that no meaningful development can take place in an atmosphere of insecurity. And this is why public safety is considered critical and significant in the activities of government in securing what he termed the Aristotelian life for the citizens. Apart from the preliminary pages, the book is structured into 10 chapters. The first chapter gave an overview of what public safety and security means. Here, the author tried to give a conceptual definition of public safety and public security. For him, public safety implies processes that are deployed by government or institutions in protecting the public from conditions that are likely to cause danger. If you read through page 23 to page 25, you will also see what the author was trying to say, that public security is not the exclusive function of government, even though the government should be the driver. He argues in this chapter that when there is public security, the citizens become confident in pursuing their careers without fear. The author also pointed out that given the vastness of public security, there are career opportunities, and those who are interested can make careers out of public security, even in terms of cybercrime, computer management, national defense, even road management. Now, chapter 2 dealt with citizen distrust. The thesis of this chapter is that there is trust deficit in the security structure, whereby citizens do not trust security agencies. This distrust, according to the author, to a number of factors. The first is the way our security agencies emerged. He argued that Nigeria's present-day security agencies are products of and policy. Was fundamental. The institution created by colonial government was essentially extractive, and in order to preserve these extractive institutions, they created a police force which main function was to protect the elite and harass and intimidate the people. In the main, the police and other security agencies created by colonialism could best be described as occupation force, quoting the author, that had no respect for human rights, lives, and property for the indigenous people. The other factor identified by the author as the root of public distrust is the long years of military rule in Nigeria, which progressively civilianized the soldiers and militarized the civilians. The long years of military rule created what we may call jackboot mentality, where might became right, and people who have the means to invoke the might of the security agencies to deal with the vulnerable members of society. In Nigeria, the people have come to see security agencies as tools in the hands of their leaders and political elites to suppress them. In this chapter, the author also discusses in detail the role of the police, which is to enforce law and keep society safe. Despite this role, citizens continue to view the police with distrust, and this has continued to impair the performance of the police in its effort to prevent and control crime. The author went further to recommend 4 ways to promote citizens' trust, which include bringing citizens closer to the police, promoting citizens' engagement intentionally and continuously, encouraging community members to get involved in security, and forging partnership with non-governmental organizations. Chapter 3 of the book dwells on promoting partnerships in policing. His argument here is that the people need assurance from the police and other security agencies about their safety in and out of their homes. The MC was talking earlier today, saying that even as he is here, he will want to understand what is happening in his house. The author also argues that because of issues of distrust, citizens are less confident in relating with the police, especially in the context of the widening and more complex roles which the police has assumed in recent times. The author therefore stressed on the importance of promoting partnership in policing, in the knowledge that security is everyone's business. It is in this context that the author explains in detail how the police and other security agencies should function in a democracy, and went on to advocate the community policing approach as a framework for effective partnership in policing. Adding that community policing is a worldwide phenomenon, the author outlined 4 common approaches to community policing, as well as the philosophical and pragmatic aspects of such approaches. You can see this from pages 48 to 50 of the book. The author also looked at the Nigerian approaches to community policing. According to him, these approaches include placing the community at the heart of policing, responding to the needs of the communities based on partnership, and being proactive rather than reactive to security challenges. Here also, he outlined the overall objective of the Nigerian approach to community policing. The issues of trust, funding, and intelligence sharing should be addressed to make community policing work in Nigeria. And this is why policing is imperative in every society. If you go to pages 52 to 55 of the book, you'll see them. Chapter 4 examines crime management. This chapter is novel in its assumptions because it raises several issues which ordinarily we would not have adverted our minds to. The author in this chapter argues that there is need for security awareness in our places of business because businesses are open to all manner of crimes which can make the difference between survival and failure of that business. Business owners, the author contends, should always plan for business safety and security to avoid what he called business victimization, pages 58 to 60. This form of victimization could result from what the author categorized as white-collar crimes and violent crimes. He went further to address the impact of crimes on businesses and also explain how businesses can contribute to crime. Businesses contribute to crime through a variety of ways, such as merchandise display, manner of staffing, lax security around business premises, product designs, etc. Other things covered in chapter 4 include business work solution, how businesses can be encouraged to respond to public safety and security, types of security and safety partnership, and steps to starting a partnership and elements of successful partnership. Forming strategic partnership is discussed in chapter 5. In this chapter, the author defines strategic partnership as a formal understanding between two or more organizations to share their resources to achieve a common goal. He went on to explain why such strategic partnerships are important and who should enter into such partnerships. He also addressed the importance of security partnerships in development and the steps that should be followed in forming such strategic partnerships. Chapter 6 talks about the importance of investing in public-private safety partnerships. Here, the author identifies the various forms of security partnerships, which includes police-private security partnership, citizen security partnership, need-based security partnership, emergency-based security partnership, and mutually binding security partnership. He also discussed the risks and benefits of security partnerships. In chapter 7 of the book, the author discusses in detail why Community Policing Forum is a tool for public security. In this chapter, he deepens his earlier comments on community policing in Nigeria, outlining how a rapidly changing social system. He identified key factors that drive such community partnership and how community partnership could be built. The argument here is that policing, being everybody's responsibility, can no longer be restricted to the domain of security agencies alone. His thesis in this chapter could be likened to the anecdote of the turtle and the hare, which emphasizes collaboration in security space by all stakeholders. Chapter 10, which is the final chapter, examines the impact of technology on sustainable public safety. He discusses the whole gamut of technology and its influence on society and human interaction, and how technology can be used for effective and sustainable public safety. He concluded by stating that technology is a game changer in the way we approach public safety and security, noting that Nigeria needs to benchmark her application of technology in public safety and security to global best practices and the challenges associated thereto. What are the observations? Luke Onyebuchi Aneke's book is as comprehensive and scholarly as it can be. To that text, to think that this is the author's first creative output and he has come forth with such excellence and finesse is commendable. The referencing style is excellent because it accords with APA 6 referencing style, and the indexing is also good. However, there are some observations that need to be pointed out. First, I have observed the nature of acknowledgement in the book. I need to point out that this is not a political publication, but purely a scholarly endeavor. And there are standard procedures for doing acknowledgement for such scholarly work. The danger in such a effusive acknowledgement is that every member, including the beggar on the street, wants to be acknowledged. Once you acknowledge what is the procedure. Second is the structure of the book. The chapterization of the book appears distorted, and this has created problems of transition. For it, and followed by current chapter 7. This would have blended perfectly since the theme of discussion in this chapter is on community policing. There should also have been a chapter or a sub-theme on such areas like how do we integrate local into the framework of community policing. How do we, such examination would have shown whether the Nigerian approach has been successful or not, and what factors are responsible. By the Onyebuchi Aneke, audacious in attempt, courageous in articulating his viewpoints, rich in imagery, in prose free-flowing, syntactically mellow, and robust in rendition. I recommend the book highly to all students of public safety and security agencies, and school libraries. In Luke Onyebuchi Aneke's work, we can confidently conclude that the meal of our security grinds still. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for doing us the honors. Dr. Malaki Chukwuchie of the Institute of Peace and Strategic Studies, Enugu State University of Science and Technology Institute, will go quickly unveil the book and also announce the presence of Honorable Princess Ugu